On January 1st of this year, we made a major announcement when we added Porsche as our newest partner. The first car we added to the sim was the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup, and at the same time we announced that we would be adding several more Porsches in the future. For the next Porsche, we wanted something special, something unique, something that hasn't been seen in a racing sim before, and something definitively Porsche. Today, that Porsche is here. So here we are in northern New Hampshire, where we found the perfect diesel Porsche. It's a model P133, and we're super excited to be able to scan it today. That should take us about 8 hours or so. After that, we'll do photo reference and sound recording. Then we're back to the office to build this sucker. When we're done with this project, we'll have the most authentic tractor ever built. Take that, farming simulator. It'll take some time and a lot of company resources, but we can definitely say this Porsche will be ready to launch sometime in the future.
Welcome everyone to the NMNTS ARCA series, Disabled Military Veterans ARCA series rather. Auto Lotto 200, sorry, it's all coming back to me. We've got, I believe, 200 laps on hand here at Richmond International Raceway. First time we're getting to bring a full points event from NMNTS to PSI TV. And Zach, I want to welcome you to the booth. We've got Zach Lindgren alongside of me, as I usually prefer to have. Zach, welcome up here.
Hey, thanks for having me up here. I hope everybody's going to enjoy this awesome race we got before you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a thriller, I'll tell you what. I mean, we got Michael Redding on track right now qualifying, and, you know, as always, over here in the NMNTS series on the short tracks, he is one to keep an eye out for, so I think he could be one of the guys that, you know, poses a threat for the win. He did scrape the wall a little bit there in qualifying, and since this is new to the channel of PSI TV, obviously, what NMNTS normally does over here is throw up a qualifying session where they call each driver out car by car. So what you're seeing right here is kind of the old NASCAR style of qualifying, where it's single car qualifying in a succession, where we can watch each of these guys go out, and currently it looks like points leader Terry Mason is on the track.
Yeah, he's another one to keep an eye out for, but yeah, it's going to be a good race. That's all I could say. I'm pumped. I'm ready. Let's get to it, man.
Yeah, so if you don't know, normally Zach and I race over here in the NMNTS ARCA series, but tonight we're giving up the ride for broadcasting. There was a previous deal with a previous channel which fell through, and we've got the rest of the season over here in the ARCA series and the Grand National series on Tuesday nights. Zach and I will still be at it on Monday nights in the truck series driving, so that should be a lot of fun. We're both still in the hunt for the championship, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be a real close one all the way down to Homestead. But currently, Terry Mason just went out there and put his number 75 WFO Motorsports Chevrolet in P5.
Hey, wake up.
And it looks like we may actually have somebody to pay us a visit here in the channel. Zach, if you can give him a ring and get him up here, he will be our second place runner in the points currently. That's going to be the number 5 of Jason Alexander. So, Zach, if you can bring him up here, that'd be appreciated.
Well, I've moved up here. Jason Alexander, P2 right now in points. Jason, you got a copy up here?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, you're right now sitting P2 in the points. You are, like I said, P2 in points. What's your mindset coming into this race? What are you getting ready for this race mentally?
Just to finish it. If I can be in the top 10, I'll be happy. Not really that quick right now, so we're trying to find some speed.
I hear you. Well, I mean, that's still a good strategy to come into this racetrack. It's a very loose racetrack out there. What's your strategy out there on the track? Do you want to be in front of everybody? Do you want to just take your time, move your way up? Like you said, you want to finish, but how are you going to get to that finish?
Well, the way it looks like I'm going to qualify in the back, so I guess what I'm going to do is stay in the back for a while, and maybe halfway through the race start heading towards the front. Hopefully.
Hey, we got you. Well, Andrew, you got any questions for Jason here?
Sorry, what was that?
I ain't got a question for you, Jason, but do want to comment. It's been a great season racing with you this whole way to now. I mean, it kind of sucks to have to watch you guys out there now as I give up the seat, but it's going to be fun to call your battle trying to catch up to Terry Mason for the championship, bud.
I appreciate that, Andrew, and it's been a pleasure racing with you too, man.
For sure. Well, I wish you the best of luck, just as I wish Terry the best of luck, and hopefully you can tear it up tonight in the good way, not the bad way. So we'll be looking out for number 5.
Thank you.
And again, that was Jason Alexander. As you see on the ticker down at the bottom of your screen, Jason Alexander is currently number 2 in the standings, like Zach mentioned. He's 43 points back, so it's a tall order for him to try and catch that number 75, but with the right plan of action here, I think he may just have what it takes. As currently, as we watch through the rest of qualifying, it looks like, who do we have on track right now? Looks like number 10. So Jason Kinzer, one of the guys that isn't normally in the series, is out here at least making a qualifying attempt in the number 10 Kodiak Chevrolet. Very nice paint scheme. Like I said, he's not normally out here, so as we watch him qualify, we're going to see if we can't catch up with Terry Mason.
All right. Let me get. You want me to bring
Or
him up?
actually, has qualifying finished?
I believe so. I believe
All right,
Mike
then we'll
Bruno
get
might
Mike
have been
Bruno.
our pole sitter.
Mike Bruno, this is Andrew up in the PSI TV booth. Do you have a copy?
I got you, bud.
Well, you guys with the SimSpec PC team are just keeping right at it. You're already back to pole position. Normally it's Tyler Justice there, but this time it's you, and definitely a pretty good lap out there. Took it by 0.8 of a second, actually. So how are you going to attack tonight's track? It's definitely very loose. Zach and I found that out in our own practice. So what's your kind of plan of action here tonight?
Yeah, just like you said, it's definitely really loose. Just got to be really careful getting in on corner entry. That's kind of where the tricky spot is. So gonna take it easy and see what it gets me in the end here. I don't really want to push too hard because it feels like it'll snap out at any point. So just run it out, see how it goes, and hopefully be there at the end.
For sure. Well, you're not in the battle for the points in this series, so I guess it's just a matter of go out there and try and win. But what can you tell us about your efforts for tomorrow night's race over at Martinsville in the Truck Series? What can you tell us about how you're going to attack that beast and try and solidify yourself for Homestead?
Yeah, I've been doing the C-Fix this week in the trucks, and it's a totally different animal as opposed to the Xfinity cars there. It's seems like a lot heavier, lot harder to brake on entry, stuff like that. So been trying to get used to that and get some laps in, but hopefully can stay up front there. We know track position is key. Get a good qualifying position and get that W and get locked into Homestead.
For sure. Well, wish you the best of luck tonight, starting on pole like we mentioned, and looks like you got a couple of hungry cats right behind you, especially with your teammate Tyler Justice starting fourth. So best of luck to you as you try and hold them off for 200 laps, I do believe, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you later on.
Thanks a lot, bud. I appreciate it, man.
And again, that was pole sitter Mike T. Bruno in the number 19 SimSpec PC ride. One of the favorites out here tonight for sure, even if he wasn't on pole, Zach, but he's on pole and definitely probably got the fastest car underneath him. So who are you picking to win as I try and line up an interview with points leader Terry Mason?
Well, right now it's pretty much anyone's ball game. Like you said, Bruno took the pole by 0.8 of a second there, or 0.08 of a second, my mistake, over Sawyer Ott. So pretty much it's wide open. It could be Mike Bruno's night. He could have a little bit of a slip up, like he said. It's a slippery track. The car can bounce out from under you easily. It's wide open. I'm gonna go with a little bit of an underdog here. I'm gonna have to say Jason Burgess is gonna take this one.
All right, well, I think I'm going to have to go with Tyler Justice, honestly. He tends to be the man in these kinds of races when it's a little bit harder to handle, and it takes one heck of a driver to finish it off. But with that said, Zach, I'll let you line up our points leader, Terry Mason. I'm going to get back to finishing some waffles, actually.
Alrighty. Terry Mason, this is Zach Lingren up here in the PSI TV booth. You got a copy, bud?
Copy loud and clear. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Well, right now you're sitting on top of the points. You are 43 points ahead of second place. What is your mindset coming into tonight to try to solidify yourself to stay in P1?
Well, mindset right now is just going to make it through the race. I'm racing a little under the weather. I don't even remember Saturday. I think I slept through that, so apologize to everyone. Really, the mindset is I'm trying to bring this car home in one piece today. Practice was a little interesting. Hopefully tracks rubbered up a little bit after that practice, and we get some grip coming off the corners.
Yeah, I was out there in practice with you guys, and it seems like every time you try to get on the gas, the car would start to step out on you. What's going to be your plan of attack to try to conquer that? Like everyone else is out here saying that the track is really slippery. So, what's your going to be plan of attack for that?
Well, my plan of attack is I'm just going to ride around, let everyone take themselves out. I hate to sound that way, but it makes it a little easier for me.
And that's your points leader, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, you got to get there somehow, right?
Hey, exactly. Well, Terry, we hope for the best of you. Driving under the weather, that's not easy, but we hope for the best for you out there tonight. We hope for a good finish for you, and we'll see you at the end of the race.
All right, thank you guys.
No problem, bud. And that was our points leader, Terry Mason. He does have a 43-point lead over our second place, Jason Alexander, right now in ARCA. Terry, right now, here, let me pull up. Never mind. I believe he's 43 points over Jason Alexander. I believe Jason has 1 win. I do believe Terry has none. Terry might be looking to get that 0 out of the way tonight. But like you said, he's just going to ride around. He's just going to let everyone take themselves out and try to get himself a good finish, put more of a point deficit on top of everyone. As we get ready to grid, we're going to take a short voice break real quick, and we'll get back to you all real quick.
Actually, as I believe Zach has to do something real quick. Just want to mention real quick, if you heard any plates or forks on plate sounds just a moment ago, it was probably my mic. I'm finishing up a plate of Mama's waffles. So with that out of the way, we're going to go through the grid real quick. First off, we got Mike T. Bruno on pole. We got to talk with him. Very nice always to talk with the SimSpec guys. And to his outside, Sawyer Ott's going to be starting second. With Robbie Buckner in tow in P number 3. In 4th place, we have Tyler Justice, the other SimSpec driver. In 5th place, his stepfather, Gordon Larson. He will be starting 5th in the Mellow Yellow Chevrolet. To his outside, we're going to have Jason Burgess in the number 23 Monster Chevrolet with points leader Terry Mason in tow. He's in the number 75 Project 9 line Chevrolet Impala. To his outside in the Yankee Rose number 72, Ken Yantz, energetic as always. He got the win last week in the fun Daytona race here with the NMNTS guys, and starting 9th place behind them is going to be Michael Reddick in the number 16 Miller High Life Chevrolet. To his outside in the AC Delco number 13 PJ Popham. And in row number 6 we're going to have Jared Beasley in the number 114. To his outside teammate Jason Alexander in the number 5 Lego Batman Chevrolet. In row number 7, Corey Walters and Craig Lerman. In row number 8, it's going to be Derek Robinson and Ryan Broderick. In row number 9, Christopher Matthews and DJ Hargrove. As we go back up to the front of the field and get ready for the start of the race here, I believe these guys will have one more lap of caution. So Mike T. Bruno will be on the pole. Like we've mentioned a few times, we're going to go on board here from Robbie Buckner's number 90. He started on the pole in that fun Daytona race in the trucks last week. And now he's starting in the second row in 3rd position in the number 90 Budweiser Chevrolet. So we'll go on board with him for the start of this race. Should be an exciting one as we go on board. And I have to reiterate, these guys are getting ready for a long 150 lap race. It was my mistake earlier saying it was 200 laps. We got 150 laps on hand tonight. And it's going to be a crazy one for sure. As Zach and I were duly noting earlier, these cars are very loose. The track is very loose. And it's going to end up being one heck of a combination that adds up to quite fun racing. But here we go. Green flag is in the air. Mike Bruno powers away with the lead.
Sawyer Ott checks up a little bit up top. Tyler Justice flies to the bottom. The 2 SimSpec PC towers already down there. 1-2. It looks like Sawyer Ott is fighting back on the high side, though, as some of these cars are already getting a little squirrely coming out of the corner. It looks like Tyler Justice will clear the 35. Put Tyler Justice in P2 right now. Our leader, Mike Bruno, and we have a caution.
I'm not sure where that caution was, but it sounded like Robbie Buckner missed a shift on the start, and that's why he fell back out of 3rd place into 4th. As we look around for the crash, did you happen to catch where that was, Zach?
I believe it was a single spin on the 10 car. I can't really see it. It looks like he was going into turns 3 and 4 and just lost it.
All right, so we'll go back to the start of the race and try and find out what happened to Jason Kinzer as he was starting caboose on the field. all the way in the back in the last row with Billy Hargrove. Actually, he had Jaron Barron behind him as well. Going off into turn 3, like he said, Zach, it looks like he just gets loose in center and loops it around to that Kodiak number 10.
Yeah, it looks like he just got on the binder just a little bit too hard, and the back end just started stepping out on him. Good piece of driving by him, though, to not hit anybody, not put himself into the wall. But, yeah, he just got on the binders just a little bit too hard, and he started to step around, it looked like.
For sure. Now as we go back up to the front of the field, we've got the number 10, the number 92 through the pits, but it looks like most of the rest of the field is going to opt to stay out with only a lap or less on their tires. Mike Bruno will stay in the lead with his teammate Tyler Justice to his outside, and Sawyer Ott, Robbie Buckner will form row number 2 behind them.
And as we continue, Gordon Larson will be P5, Kenneth Yance will be P6, Jason Burgess P7, PJ Popham P8, Terry Mason P9, our points leader, and rounding out our top 10 will be Michael Redding, getting ready, I believe, to come to 1 to green here.
And I just want to mention, as we're under caution here, only 5 laps in, I want to first off thank all of you for coming out and tuning in. We've already got 51 viewers. That is awesome. That's crazy for an iRacing League race. I see someone asking in the comments how many laps. Ethan Northley, we've got 150 laps on hands for you guys, so we've only got 1 caution out of the way now, but we should be green for a little while after this. It's definitely going to be a challenge for these guys to get going from here. It's going to be a challenge all night, really. The track isn't really rubbered up yet, and it's very loose conditions with the car and the track.
Yeah, like pretty much everyone that we brought up here was saying that the track is really loose. It doesn't really have enough grip. If they get on the throttle a little bit too hard, or they have the wheel turned a little bit too hard, that car's coming around. So, man, these guys are gonna have to really be on top of that wheel to make sure that car stays in under them and bring in a good finish tonight.
For sure. Well, we should be coming around to the 1 to green once we come back around to the start-finish line. Zach, with that, we only got 1 lap in, but do you want to change your pick at all, or are you sticking with Jason Burgess in the number 23?
I got to stick with Jason. I honestly believe if he can keep that car nice and clean, nice and steady all night, he's going to be able to get up there into the front, maybe even lead some laps and pick up that W.
For sure. And actually, we've got somebody in the comments mentioning too much front brake. I think it was actually a mix of the setup. I believe there's a lot of cross weight in this setup. iRacing lately has been setting these cars up to have a lot of cross weight, and we do have the restart coming this time by, but I think it's just a matter of cross weight and not a whole lot of rubber on the track for these tires to try to get some traction. But it's definitely going to be a wild night for some of these guys in the NMNTS Disabled Military Veterans ARCA Series cars. As we come around to get the green, who do you think we should go on board with this time, Zach?
You know, let's go on board with Sawyer Ott right here behind Mike Bruno and Tyler Justice sitting in P3.
All right, and not only will we go on board with him, if I can find the right camera, we're going to go to his visor cam.
Pace car dives off, and Mike Bruno takes off instantly right off the pace car. Green flag's out. Mike Bruno gets a good jump on Tyler.
Yeah, and Sawyer Ott just trying to fall in behind for right now. He's clear up to the top side. Gets
Oh, Mike Bruno, or I'm sorry, Robbie Buckner losing it off the backstretch.
As we go to his onboard, he's actually going through the air just a little bit.
I apologize about that. I said the wrong name. I got a little excited there.
You're just fine, Zach. Yeah, as we have our partner in crime out there, Ryan Daniels, mentioning that he was going to be with us tonight, but some power and weather issues prevented that from happening. We'll watch what happens to Robbie Buckner here as he comes through turns 1 and 2. He just gets... Actually, he might have been hooked. We'll have to go back and watch that one more time. No, he got loose. Then he got hooked by the number 72. Definitely a very scary ride. If only this is real life for Robbie Buckner. definitely was not pleasant to watch.
Yeah,
Must've been a lot
right
less
now-
pleasant to be in.
Well, the scariest ride right now, that wreck happened right in front of our points leader, Terry Mason. He actually squeezed through the middle of that. He actually ran through the middle of the 23, the 72, and the 90 of them wrecking. No damage on him whatsoever. Put that 75 in a clean car and probably in a new pair of shorts.
For sure. Well, in just a moment, we're going to get the onboard cameras we watched with Jason Burgess, who just got taken out in that wreck. That was your pick to win, Zach, and already falling through.
Yeah, just tough luck. This track, it's hard to drive on. Everyone's been saying it. And just one little mistake of someone in front of him, it got the best of him, and bad luck.
All right, and as we watch this onboard camera here with Terry Mason, I want to say hello to Tracy Bennett Larson. Thanks for coming out. She's got some very close relation to the SimSpec guys and Gordon Larson Jr. That was just kind of the seas parting ways for Terry Mason. That was a very, very timely escape route for him to get through, as already only 12 cars, I think, even got through that. It looks like there's 3 more still on the lead lap that came in to get repairs, and a few more behind them who may be done for the night. So already thinning the herd with just a couple of wrecks.
And we even heard it from some of these guys. This, like we've been saying over and over, this track is extremely loose. It's hard to get back onto the throttle, even in turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it's gonna be harsh for some of these guys, but we're gonna have to see if this track bites some other of these guys, if they're able to keep it under them and get a good green flag running.
For sure. Well, as we continue to watch these guys pace around, hopefully this isn't the name of the game tonight. Hopefully it isn't just pacing around for the remainder of the 150 laps. Currently on lap 12 as we watch Terry Mason just go, I think, about 45 miles an hour around this 0.75 mile track here in Richmond, Virginia. I think next time we'll try and organize an interview with one of these guys. Unfortunately, can't do it right now because they are coming to 1 to green. As I think we'll actually go on board with Terry Mason just on the off chance that we get another crazy wreck to watch from his point of view.
Terry Mason, I believe, mired in the 6th position right now, 3rd lane on the outside. So he's gonna have a good view of what's happening in front of him, what's going on with everybody in front of him.
For sure. Now, it looks like maybe one of these guys isn't doubling up ahead of him. I think we're going green. It may be one more lap until we go green.
Oh, we're taking off right now. Mike Bruno gets a good jump out. Sawyer Ott and Tyler Justice is able to stay with him. Mike Bruno gets clear of Tyler going into the corner. Sawyer Ott's going to try to look to the inside. The 13's losing it off of turn 2.
I tell you
collects the 69.
I'll tell you what, that was a flub on my end. I was too busy finishing off my waffles to set it back to live racing. That was alrighty. I guess we may as well get the jitters out of the way now as we go back.
Yeah.
We're going to check out just what happens there with the number 13. As we saw him from Terry Mason's view just in time, getting loose and heading straight for the wall right in the Chevy American Revolutionary, or American Revolution, rather, sign on the wall there. That's going to be the night for the number 13. We'll try and go on board with him, see exactly what he sees. Goes off into the corner, buries it off in there. A little bit too rough and overcorrects up into the wall. Takes out John Barron as well. We'll see if John Barron's able to continue or not, as that number 69 has a good bit of damage.
Yeah, it just, excuse me, it looks like it bit TJ Popham just a little bit there. He almost had it saved. I believe he overcorrected. That's what put him into the outside wall. And then everyone else trying to slow up and trying to make sure they don't hit anybody else, they just got into PJ, and it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure. It's, nothing you want to see, especially so early in one of these races. But I will say one thing that we're definitely going to be hoping to to get here is some green flag racing. I know there's some of you guys pointing it out in the comments. We have had just wrecks to start this off, but I tell you what, when it's adverse track conditions and some drivers that aren't always around each other, because this is one of the series that's less run over in the NMNTS. Generally, it's a mix of guys that aren't always around each other, so maybe not everyone else used to each other just yet. And with these track conditions, it is going to be a challenge for these guys, and we're just going to have to wait it out. Hopefully these guys get it sorted out eventually, but generally what happens is these guys have a few early wrecks, get it out of their system, and then they go green for a real long time. So we'll hope that they do it this time so we can get to some green flag racing, but certainly by no real fault of their own. We saw Jason Kinzer maybe just not having the practice as he joined in kind of late and got on the track actually with no practice time, I believe. Jason Kinzer was the first caution. After that was Robbie Buckner, just out of turn 2. Got a little bit loose, got a little too far up the track. And then that one was PJ Popham bearing it off into the corner, I think a little bit too hard. And just when he was trying to woe it down, maybe a little bit too much rear brake in the car, brought the rear of the car around and then overcorrected. But we should get these out of the way. And as the NMNTS Racing Series comments on our stream, they'll be going single file if they can't get it started this time. So if they have another caution right away this time on the restart, looks like these guys will be going into single file restarts at least for a time or two to try and get these jitters out of the way, Zach.
Yeah, and we can't really jump on these guys either. I mean, this is a track that is extremely slippery, and we got a setup inside the car that is due for drivers that like really loose race cars and know how to drive really loose race cars. Me personally, I like a little bit of a loose race car to drive. That's the kind of car I can drive. Some of these other guys might be able to drive a tighter race car, and they just really can't get the hold of it. I mean, we can't really jump on them here. It's just the way the track is and the way the setup is. It's just not mixing with their driving style. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to adjust to that, and it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to consistently run with that as we get ready to go to green here, Andrew.
And we're going to be debuting our digger cam here on this restart as the field comes through turns 3 and 4. The green flag, I believe, is in the air as Mike Greeno takes off, and down to the bottom as Tyler Justice rides the wall on the restart. Off into turns 1 and 2, Mike Greeno still has the lead.
Yeah, this time Mike Bruno got another good jump. Sawyer Ott's trying to come with him as the 114 of Jared Beasley sneaking his name up there, getting into P3 on the high side on top of Sawyer Ott. Right now the front 4 just kind of leveled out. Right now, our top 3, Mike Bruno, Tyler Justice, Jared Beasley.
I'll tell you what, that's exactly what the rest of MRM wants to see. MRM being the Michael Redding Motorsports team. That's going to consist of Mike Bruno, Tyler Justice, Jared Beasley, and several others throughout the field. And they're already off to a great start tonight as they've got 1 through 3 covered. But Sawyer Ott's trying to spoil that party right now. He's riding 4th right behind Jared Beasley in the number 114. And real quick to answer a couple of questions in the comments. Yes, sometimes there are some real drivers in the field. James McElneill, like for example. A few times earlier in the season we had Kyle Weatherman. Kyle Weatherman starred in the number 51 today in the NASCAR Cup Series for Rick Ware Racing. And often we normally have David Levine on hand as well, but doesn't look like he's out here tonight. And then to answer Tim Keenan, will they pit at a certain point? Yes, they will pit whenever they pretty much feel like it. It's totally open to pitting just like normal NASCAR. Some of these guys tend to go for the older tires and the track position to try and hold their position, especially when you have these jitters at the start of the race that normally end up in quite a few cautions and therefore quite a few restarts. You just want to hold that track position, stay ahead of the rest of the field, as currently we've got a 4-car breakaway here, Zach.
Yeah, the top 4 cars right now just kind of broken away. They're staying single file. Some of them are trying to find a different line for them to run. We got 1 car stuck in the middle of these 2 groups. That is the 26 car of Matt Skipper. Right now he's running 5th, I do believe. But yeah, right now these top 4 have run away a little bit, but right now they're just trying to find a line to run. What would be the best for them? What would be the best for the car to try to have a good run? Right now, it looks like Bruno and Justice are kind of pulling away a little bit. Sawyerot's just trying to find his own little ride right here, and Jared Beasley stuck in the middle of both of them.
Yeah, and real quick, I want to give a shout out to Matt Skipper. Last week was his grandfather's memorial race at USA International. Definitely a sad reason to have a special race, but it was nice to have a special race. And he handled it with a lot of poise and a lot of suave. So now he's running out here in 5th place. Very nice to see him getting his run. And Zach, I think we had a moment up in the front.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't know, it looks like Tyler Justice almost lost it coming off of turn 2. Checked up Jared and Sawyer out there a little bit. Jared lost a spot because of it. Sawyer picked one up, but I don't know. It looked like a really weird checkup. It looked like maybe even Mike Bruno almost lost it. I don't know, but everyone seemed to file out. It put Skipper right back there in the game. If Matt Skipper can run a consistent line, run a consistent time, he might be up here with these guys, and we might have a 5-car battle for the lead.
Yeah, I tell you what, as we look back from the number 7 SimSpec Chevrolet at the number 35 and the number 114, if one of these guys has a few serious slip-ups, like we saw the 114 get a little bit loose there in 3 and 4, if they keep doing that and they keep battling up in the front, that brings Matt Skipper right into the fray. And that number 26, Ed Fuchs Memorial number 26. So he very well could have a great chance at having a great run tonight if he just keeps this up. I know it's early, but generally early momentum spells good things for the rest of the race as Sawyer Ott gets by the number 7 of Tyler Justice and now goes on to pursue the number 19 of Mike T. Bruno.
And as we look back a little bit further in the field, we were mentioning Matt Skipper. Caution is out. Let's see who that's going to be on. Looks like the 43, the 22, and the 24 might have been involved in that. DJ Hargrove, the 43 of Craig Lerman, and the 22 of Billy Hargrove.
Well, we'll go back and watch with the number 24 real quick. Actually, we'll go watch number 43. Looks like he was a little bit closer, and yeah, Craig Lerman was definitely right in the fray. He actually went around and barely missed the number 22 as he was spun on the bottom. And I'm not so sure that Craig Lerman didn't pick up a little bit of front-end damage, but if he did, it wasn't much. So we'll have to go back and see what happens there with Billy Hargrove.
From what I heard, it sounded like just a self-spin. Maybe the 43 was trying to check up to not get into the back of the 22, and the back end of his own car himself just kind of stepped out a little bit. Again, good piece of driving by both of these guys to not get into the wall and not get into any other cars. Good driving by DJ Hargrove to not get into anybody, the 43 or the 22.
Yeah, that was very, very close, and I think there was some contact made, but nothing big that was registered by the sim between the 43 and the 22. But yeah, like you said, Billy Hargrove and the number 22 just got into the corner a little bit deep, a little bit too hard, and looped that number 22 Snap-on Chevrolet around. As you got it correct there with Craig Lerman as well, he was just trying to miss the accident and went around himself. I think pits will be open this time, or do they already pit, Zach?
I believe they already pit. While we were talking and going over the wreck, I believe they went in to get some tires and everything like that. It looks like Gordon Larson, Christopher Matthews, Gordon Larson, Sawyer Ott stayed out possibly, and that's going to put Mike Bruno and Tyler Justice behind them. It looks like the 26 of Matt Skipper might have gotten a speeding penalty going into the pits. I know he went in with them, but it looks like they got him coming out. He's dropping to the back right now very, very quickly, just kind of stopping back here right here on the front stretch.
Certainly unfortunate for Skipper and the number 26 machine. I know Ryan Daniels in the chat was giving him a shout out, and he was also mentioning that the number 35 of Sawyer Ott is teammates, I believe, with Matt Skipper and the number 26. So that's a little bit of added information for you guys. As actually, we just got a message on the page, so hopefully the guy who messaged us, I didn't catch the name, hopefully you're watching. We'll get to you as soon as the race is over. But currently lap 35. We got a nice run in there, Zach, and it was nice to see these guys stretch their legs a little bit as Sawyer Ott is currently your leader. I believe, like Zach said, that he may have stayed out there. If not, he might have taken 2 tires. Not totally sure, but nice to see him get out here, get some laps led, and have to now hold these guys off. It's definitely going to be a challenge for him. Won't be any easy task considering the two guys on his bumper. Going to be Tyler Justice and Mike Bruno with Jared Beasley right behind, but he was going toe-to-toe with them a little bit earlier and succeeding. So as we mentioned that, I think we're going 1 to green this time, and we are, Zach.
Yeah, like you said, these guys had a little bit to stretch their legs a little bit. Now they know what the car's going to do if they try to push it. Now they know what it is on a little bit of a green flag run there. Now they know how it's going to handle. So it's going to be fun to see how these guys are going to be able to handle it on an even longer green flag run. I do believe we'll get one of them's in. And yeah, right now Sawyer right now in front of these two. If he didn't take any tires, I'm really interested to see how he's able to hold off the 19 or the 7. But as we get ready to come to the green flag, we're coming into turns 3 and 4 right now. Sawyer will lead the 7, the 19, the 114, and the 16. That's the top 5 for you. The pace car drops off. Sawyer checks up a little bit, gets going on it. We are green flag back here at Richmond. Sawyer gets a good jump on Tyler Justice. Goes up in front of Tyler Justice, dives it back down into turns 1 and 2. Right now the top 4 single out just a little bit. Top 5 do actually, as we got a battle for 5th. And I believe those are our 2 championship contenders. No, I'm mistaken. That is the 75 with the 10. But right now, the top 5, now I believe the top 7 kind of leveled out.
Well, geez, Zach, I think you just made my position in this whole thing a little bit useless. You were doing great there on your own. We have Tyler Justice getting to the outside, but I do hope that we can find a way to immortalize that moment of you saying thems in actual broadcast mode. That was certainly something. Hopefully we can immortalize that in some way, shape, or form. But as we ellipse lap number 38, Tyler Justice takes the lead by storm. I think it's going to be
takes
hard
it on the high side.
Yeah, he just basically drove down there. He drove by Sawyer out like he was standing still down the front straightaway, and then just drove down to the bottom end of the corner. I'm not sure Sawyer or anyone is going to be able to really battle that number 7 for a while. It's normally what we end up seeing out of Tyler Justice here in these races is he just takes off for who knows how long.
The 35 in the wall. The 35 of Sawyer out into the wall. The 19, the 114, and the 16 take evasive maneuvers, have to slow up a little bit. But the 35 of Sawyer out tried to push the exit of the corner just a little bit too hard. Gets himself into the wall. Still sticking with these guys, but it will slow this group up a little bit. Let Tyler get away.
And as 114, number 114, that's Jared Beasley around in turn 2. Jason Kinzer gets a little piece of his front end. I don't think it's going to hurt either car too much, but definitely a big moment there for Jared Beasley in the JB Designs number 114 there. Be a bad time to shout his page out, but that's the BA Graphics number 114. Apologies there, but that was a big moment for him in the number 114. We'll have to get a look at that one, as I think Jared Beasley just lost it on the inside between the number 35 and the number 19. For sure, yeah. I don't think there was even wheel hop involved. I think he just got on the brakes a little bit too hard with a little bit too much rear brake. Tried to get it in reverse before anyone hit him, but unfortunately for him, the number 10 came by and swiped him just a little bit. I'm not sure what kind of damage Jason Kinzer is going to have, but I don't think it's going to be much.
It gave Jared Beasley just a little bit of right side damage there. Good driving by everyone else to miss him up on the high side. But it gave Jared Beasley just a little bit of right side damage here. It might have pushed some of his car up just a little bit. I'm not seeing too much on Jason Kinzer. It shouldn't hinder any of them. I mean, this is a short track, but we're going to have to see how these cars handle now.
Yeah, and this time we'll actually watch Jared Beasley's pit stop here. Since he was a front runner, we're going to watch and see just how much repairs they can get done to that number 114 BA Graphics Chevrolet. The front end is kind of crippled, as actually he's going to pull away right away. It doesn't look like he's going to choose to stay in for the repairs. Must not be that much. Basically, I'm sorry, I noticed a comment from Ryan Daniels that I'm not sure what you mean there, Ryan, but if you'd like to elaborate, I think we'd like to listen. That's certainly interesting. He says, PSI TV, I'm handing out some special stuff you want in LMAO. I'm not sure what that means, Ryan, but if you can elaborate, I'm all ears. But as I was saying here, Jared Beasley not opting to repair any damage while he was in the pits. These drivers, being that they're racing on iRacing, it's a video game, essentially. It's a bit more than your normal video game, so don't think of it as just some kid playing in his mom's basement with a controller in his hand, because it's much more than that. But they do have a GUI or a graphic user interface. I think I'm correct there in saying that. But basically, iRacing will show the drivers how much damage there is to repair, so they can get the damage on their car fixed. They can know how much there is to fix, and they're not sitting there for some time where no damage is getting fixed, or they're not leaving when there's a lot of damage to be fixed. So that's just one of the helpful things the iRacing shows to the user. And Charles Balance, welcome to the stream, saying what's up. I don't want to try and emphasize all of the U's right there, because that's certainly a lot of U's that you typed in there, but just want to reiterate the points battle right now. Terry Mason is your current points leader, as he's running, it looks like, 5th place out of South Carolina there in the Project 9 line Chevrolet. He's running 5th place right now, with certainly even more of a leg up now on Jason Alexander, albeit only one more point. Jason Alexander coming into tonight's Auto Lotto 200 with a 43-point deficit, I think. It's about that anyway.
Yeah.
You'll see my name listed, the number 81, as 48 points back. Don't pay attention to that. That's just because I'm currently 3rd, but with the points deficit and the need for a broadcaster here on Sunday nights, I decided to jump out of the car and help these guys out. But currently these guys are coming to the restart, and I think it's only appropriate that with that conversation on hand, we're going to go on board with the number 75 as he restarts behind Michael Redding, who we haven't talked much about yet tonight, but he's restarting 3rd here, Zach.
As the pace car dives off, Tyler Justice takes off instantly, leaves Mike Bruno, leaves Michael Redding, and leaves the 12 of Corey Walters. He will be at the line going into turn 1 now. It looks like everyone's pretty much going to single file out. The 16, like we said, is going to be right there in 3rd. We haven't talked too much about him. He's just slowly and steadily been creeping his way up. I know I could vouch for him. He's really good at this track. It came down to me, him, and Mike Bruno at one point in our Grand National race, and he was hard to get around. Let me tell you, he was one hard son of a gun to get around. But as we focus on this race right now, Michael Redding P3, Corey Walters P4, Terry Mason P5, and our 2nd place in points, Jason Alexander P6.
Yeah, and Jason Alexander just got passed and then actually got collected down the front straightaway in a wreck. He had just been passed by Jason Kinzer, who
it's
ended
going to
up
be off the
looping
track, no caution.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to have a caution there. Jason Kinzer had just started to loop it on the front straightaway and collected the number 5. There's significant damage now to the left front of Jason Kinzer's car. We're going to go back and get a look at that, hopefully. Jason Alexander, again, had just been passed by the number 10 of Jason Kinzer. We got 2 Jasons. It's a little bit hard to commentate, but yeah, the number 10 just got loose out of 4. Started to spin down, got the number 5, but it straightened the number 10 out as the number 5 of Jason Alexander went spinning through the grass, and I think is going to lose at least a lap, if not more, as he's currently getting passed by the whole field. Has some right rear damage, has some right front damage. That car is almost in shambles. It's a miracle that it's still running just fine, because he did take a pretty good hit to that right front, and that's going to mess with the right front suspension and all of the components to cool the car that's in that area, to cool both the radiator and the rest of the motor. So that's certainly not what anyone wanted to see for Jason Alexander, but I think as long as he keeps that thing in the current condition it is, once we get another caution, he should be able to get most of that, if not all of it, repaired and get right back at it with the help of maybe a lucky dog. Currently, he's in that position, a little ways ahead of Mike Bruno's running 2nd. Billy Hargrove is the other guy a lap down currently. So Jason Alexander, as we have a wreck in the back, that's the number 10 again.
Go to him. Looks like he's able to straighten it back out. Right now behind the 22 of Billy Hargrove, like you said. But yeah, it looks like the 10's just having a lot of trouble tonight. He's the car's not agreeing with him, the setup's not agreeing with him, and the track's not agreeing with him. You at least need one of those components to agree with you out here on a track to keep the car under you. But I think he just needs to find not back off a little bit, but I think he just needs to find a line. He just needs to find the right throttle to put into it, how much wheel to put into it. And as soon as he finds that, I think he'll be a contender. He was up here in the top 10 at one point. He's right now sitting 12th, a few positions outside of top 10. But he was sitting, I believe, 7th or 6th at one point. But as he runs the extreme high side at Richmond, actually, but I think he just needs to find his line. He just needs to find his throttle control. And as soon as he finds that, he might be a contender. Again, as he loops it a little bit going into turns 1 and 2, he's able to keep it straight, but he was in the wall in 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be a huge hit, if not only to his car, also to his confidence there for Jason Kinzer in that Kodiak Chevrolet. But he'll be able to continue on for now, and if he can just sort these problems out, I think he'll be able to stay in the race at the very least and try and contend for a top 10 finish by the night's over. But currently, if we go back up to the front of the field, Tyler Justice leading the way by a half-second over teammate Mike Bruno, and team owner behind him is going to be Mike Redding, and the number 16 will actually go to him now in the Miller High Life Chevrolet, just kind of running around here. Doesn't have a whole lot going on around him, just trying to make the rest of the race.
Sir Evel Knievel himself. Like you said at the beginning of the caution, or at the beginning of this green flag run, we didn't really talk much about him, but slowly and steadily, he's made his way up. He's P3 right now. Watch him to be a contender coming towards the end of this race.
For sure, Michael Redding is one of those guys that will stay out at Rockingham on 100-lap old tires and make it work. So he's certainly not afraid to just go balls to the walls, if you will, here on any short track. On iRacing.com is currently he is in pursuit of the number 19 of Mike T. Bruno. Mike Bruno went a little bit high there through 3 and 4, but that could be the line these guys are starting to run. For example, in today's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race, if you didn't get to see it, that was actually provided on the PSI TV page. It's kind of a thank you to everyone giving us the support. If you didn't catch that, in the race today, a lot of the Cup guys, the real Cup guys, are starting to move up to the high side at Martinsville, which is something that normally would be unthinkable.
Should not be done.
Yeah, it shouldn't be possible normally at Martinsville, but they were making it work. They were making passes on the high side, and that's how Noah Gregson even won the NASCAR Camp World Truck Series race there Saturday. So, you know, it's not unheard of to go to the higher line here on these short tracks, and it looks like maybe Michael Redding, Mike Bruno, making use of that theory there to go to the high side, try and run a more relaxed line here in their Chevrolet Impalas. Currently, they're just taking the laps off one by one, 63 in the books of 150, Zach.
Yeah, and it looks like they're not really pushing. They're just kind of finding their own line. Michael Redding loses it on the front stretch, will be off the track, will be in the grass, front end into the wall. There won't be any caution. He is off the track, but Michael Redding will fall dramatically through this field.
Yeah, and
Caution
actually
is
get the
out.
caution now. Not sure if that was for Michael Redding or someone else. But Michael Redding did have that big moment out of turn 4 there. I don't think anyone else has stopped on the track except maybe the 24. No, he's just slow. I don't think anyone... Maybe
it might have been the 26.
You know what? Maybe the 26. Yeah.
26 looks like he looped it. Yeah, he looped it coming out of 4. He was back end, started to step out on him just a little bit. This was actually a few seconds in front of the leaders too, but yeah, the 26 I believe is what brought out that caution.
It was either him going around or the number 16 of Michael Redding is, yeah, I think that was Matthew Skipper. He ended up getting the wall pretty good with the left side of the car, and that's definitely what caused the caution. That was right in front of leader Tyler Justice, so that was definitely what caused the caution. As it looks like Matt Skipper might have had to dog walk that car back to the pits. You see it's a little bit skewed there. Hopefully we can get a better visualization of that, but basically the left side, or the rear end of the car is further to the left right now than the right. Or than the front of the car, sorry. So that's definitely going to be big, probably required repairs, as we call them on iRacing, which means he'll be in the pits for a while until the iRacing stewards let him back out on the track. I don't think that's going to be for a while, though, as it looks like, yeah.
Oh, he gets stuck on the barrels there.
Yeah, I think that's just a matter of he was having to dog walk that car. It wasn't driving the way it wanted to under green. It wasn't driving the way it wanted to, or the way he wanted it to, back to the pits as he got the barrels there on pit entry and collected the 07. I think the 43 got by him just fine though. So that's going to be a lot of damage for Matt Skipper in the number 26. It could be his night over as a whole. Unfortunately, it looks like he's done for a while, but we're going to try and organize an interview with someone here. I think we'll pull up Jared Beasley if we can.
Alrighty.
So Jared Beasley, this is Andrew up in the PSI TV booth. Do you have a copy? Once more, Jared Beasley, this is Andrew up in the PSI TV booth. Do you have a copy? All right, well, he may be trying to find his mic. Actually, I think he just found it. Jared, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, well, Jared, it was nice seeing you run up front for a little while there. Now it looks like you're taking a little while to fix some damage. You had a bit of a spin a little while ago. Jason Kinzer collected just a piece of your front end there. What can you tell us about what happened right there? Were you just bearing it off into the corner a little too far, or a little too much rear brake? What was it there?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I guess I kind of came in a little bit too hot. I didn't use the brake as much as I usually do going in on that one, and I think it just upsetted the car and it just went around. I was up high. I hate that Jason got into me. I've got about 4 minutes of repair now, but hopefully we'll get back out there and get back on the lead lap, maybe make up some ground.
All right, well, as we go back to watching your teammate Tyler Justice take this race by storm as leaders, we get ready to go green. Looks like you're still sitting in the pits. You gonna get back out there or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna get back out there. I'm
All
gonna
right,
be
we'll
out there here in just a minute.
Number 114 BA Graphics Chevrolet to get back up there and cause some hell up in the front. Try and get yourself a win here tonight. We'll let you get back to your business there. Best of luck to you. Looking forward to talking with you later.
All right, thank you.
As that was Jared Beasley, the number 114. I think the race audio was getting over me a little bit there as I finished up that interview with Jared. Basically, I was just saying, hopefully he gets back into it, tears some stuff up in a good way, and hopefully we get to talk to him later as Tyler Justice, takes it away once more with the restart. Mike Bruno, his teammate in pursuit. Zach?
Yeah, the front two just kind of level out a little bit. These guys are teammates, so they're probably going to be a little bit more respectable than driving around other guys. It looks like Sawyer Odds challenging Corey Walters right now for P3. Sawyer does have the low line against, the 19 around on the backstretch. He is off the track, but the 19 around of Mike Bruno, our pole sitter, cautions out.
Yeah, and I think the caution only came out because he swerved that car back up the track a little bit to get it back going. Definitely a tough break for second place runner Mike Bruno there, coming out of turn 2, got loose and looped it around. We saw he had a little bit of damage there. We'll watch it now in real time. Once more he just gets loose out of 2, and you saw his teammate Tyler Justice, the leader, actually did the same thing but was able to hang on to it. So these guys are just going to be trying to hang on to this thing all night and really struggling with it, as Mike Bruno unfortunately fell victim to the evil handling of the car right there, getting a bunch of left side damage. I guarantee you he's going to be coming into the pits for a while to fix that up. That's definitely going to hinder his speed for a little while, as it looks like most of the field's going to come in from 7th on back. Looks like the top 6 will actually stay out. That's going to be Tyler Justice leading that group, followed by Sawyer Ott, Corey Walters, Mark Broderick in the number 32, who we haven't talked about at all yet, as well as DJ Hargrove in the 24, and Terry Mason, our points leader, in the 75. So some new names getting up to the front, like Mark Broderick in the Tide Machine, and I think we'll try and get a word with him here. As I move him up here, I'll let you take it away with Mark Broderick.
Alrighty. Mark Broderick, this is Zach Lindgren up here in the PSI booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Alright, Mark, well, you've been able to challenge your way up there to the front. You've put yourself into the top 5. You've just been kind of holding yourself. You've been peeking yourself here and there. What's your plan of attack right now? Are you just trying to keep the car under you? Are you trying to get up there with the leaders? What's your plan of attack?
I'd like to be like either 3rd or 5th, just so I'm on the inside on a restart, because there's a lot of cautions tonight. But I just kind of want to ride around and keep the quarter panels on it.
Hey, I hear you. A lot of guys have been complaining about a loose car, a loose racetrack. I'm kind of curious with you, has it really forced you to back it down a little bit going into the corners? You personally, your driving style, has it forced you to back it down, or are you just going to drive it as if you're driving at Daytona?
I don't know. I haven't really driven that hard yet, because I've just kind of been riding around watching people on their own. So I haven't really got on the gas that hard yet, just trying to take care of my tires and hopefully get a long run.
Well, there you go. Well, we're looking forward to you getting out there. Right now you're sitting P4 in that Ricky Craven 32 machine. That is a very sexy scheme, by the way. But hey, we hope for the best of you out there, bud. We hope that we get to see you at the end of this race, and best of luck.
All right, thank you, Zach.
As once again, that was Mark Broderick in the number 32 tied ride, and looks like he's currently riding around in P4. He'll be restarting up on the top side out of Pennsylvania with Corey Walters to his inside. But real quick, want to answer a question out in the chat. Yes, this is the K&N car, and looks like we weren't the first one to bite on that answer, though. But yes, this is the K&N Chevy Impala that iRacing has to offer for everyone on the service. You see some painters, like the painter who made Mark Broderick's number 32, opted to try and disguise that as a Pontiac Grand Prix. Some guys do it as maybe a Toyota or a Ford. You never really know. I
believe on Billy there's a Dodge. On Billy Hargrove's car, that's a Dodge. Or try to make it a Dodge.
There's a lot of guys that opt to go that way. Personally, even though I paint some cars, I don't. But as we come to get the green here, that's the least of our worries. Tyler Justice with the lead will take it green out of turn 4. Roars back to life as these guys come down here into turn 1 full speed.
Yeah, it looks like Sawyer just got caught off guard a little bit there. Tyler Justice changing up where he guesses it. He will get back straight line P2 though. Corey Walters P3. Mark Broderick P4. Terry Mason P5. But on one of those restarts, we saw Tyler Justice take off as soon as that pace car hit the pit road. But this time he waited a little bit, tried to get some of the other drivers to jump, and as soon as they did, he stepped on that loud pedal. As everyone's kind of leveled out right now. The only two to kind of step away from everyone else is the 35 and the 7.
And real quick, I want to mention as we watch some more cinematic views here, as we have a caution car in the wall that looks like maybe the number 5 or maybe the number 10. It's the number 5 of Jason Alexander in the wall hard. But real quick, as we go back to get a look at what happened to him there, we'll be interviewing mostly guys throughout the field just in general instead of the guys in the thick of the points battle. We don't want to disturb them as they're most important really to this race tonight. We don't want to disturb their flow as they race around here at Richmond. So we'll be interviewing pretty much the rest of the field. But Jason Alexander gets loose in turn 4, gets hit by the 07 and the 16, and then just holds up in the wall, making sure he doesn't get anyone else involved in that wreck. So we'll take another look back at that. Definitely a rough break for our second place points contender.
And it looks like he was able to force himself back into the lead lap cars. He even came over the radio and said that it was his fault. He got loose into it. He came over the radio. He apologized. But like you said, that's a tough break for the 5, especially for somebody trying to gain points on the leader.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, that's exactly what Terry Mason is going to be wanting to hear, that the number 5 was involved in a caution. So it's going to be good news for Terry. Pretty bad news for Jason Alexander there, though, is we're only going to have a few races after tonight. There's only going to be 3 races left, and that's going to be South Boston next week. You know what? There may only be 2 races left. I'll check the schedule real quick just to be sure, because I don't want to get this wrong, actually. I thought there were 3, but there may only be there may only be 2 races left in this series. Yeah, there's only 2 races left. Next week will be an off week for these guys in the ARCA series, followed up by South Boston for the Fall Jamboree and the Cowboy 150 at Texas Motor Speedway. So currently, you know, this is crunch time. I don't know if there's going to be any catching up to Terry Mason, and this certainly is not going to help Jason Alexander.
No, you're right, but I mean, anything could happen. Any given Sunday is what I've always been told, whether it be for NASCAR, for the NFL. I get told that a lot because I'm a Dolphins fan, and we're not doing too well. Anywho, any given Sunday. I mean, this could look bleak right now for the 5-car, but we could see Terry possibly loop it on his own. We've seen a lot of guys do that today. Even the pole sitter did that on his own. We even saw the 7 do it. So any given Sunday, it's all possible. The 5 can't really hang his head right now. He's still in the thick of things. He still can get up there and challenge for a championship. He's just going to have a bigger hill to overcome.
Yeah, for sure. And I can comment personally saying it was not easy to try and catch up to Terry Mason, because every time I made a gain personally racing with him in the last few weeks, Terry Mason was right there around every single corner. Every time you think you've got the leg up on Terry, he's always right around the corner. So I know there's faster guys out here like Tyler Justice and Mike Bruno, but I think as far as battling for a guy with a points position, it's definitely the toughest guy to battle with has got to be Terry Mason, in my opinion, because it's a lot more linear as far as trying to beat the number 7 or the number 19 any given week here. You know, you just have to beat them outright. And they're going to be a couple of the fastest guys on the track. But when it comes to Terry Mason, he's an underdog, and he may not always be out there in the lead, but he's certainly consistent. And like I said, every corner that you round trying to battle him for points, every time you think you make a gain on him, he's right there. So in my opinion, having battled with him personally, he's got to be one of the toughest guys to battle with, Zach, as we come to the restart this time.
Yeah, while you stepped away at the top of the show, I mentioned that he doesn't have a win, and I know probably hearing that's going to make him cringe a little bit, but he's one of the more consistent guys on this circuit, on the ARCA circuit. That's what's put him right here in the points, and that's what put him with the comfortable points lead. You don't have to win to win the championship. You just got to be consistent. Correct me if I'm wrong, as we get ready to come to green here, Terry has like 11 top 5s and like 17 top 10s. That's very impressive for someone who doesn't have a win. But as we get ready to come to green here, Tyler Justice will lead us to the field. Sawyer Ott will be on his outside. Corey Walters will be behind him. And to the outside of Corey Walters will be the 32, I believe.
Exactly.
We're lined up.
You just pulled me. We're already green flag racing. Off into turns 1 and 2 with 65 laps to go. We saw Tyler Justice pull away immediately over Sawyer Ott. Sawyer Ott pulling away from Corey Walters as well. And then behind them, it's just a dogfight, as it will be all night, really. Martin Broderick right on the back end of the number 12. Off into turns 1 and 2. We'll get to see it from the back of the roof of the number 12. You see Mark Broderick in that tied Grand Prix trying to get up to him, and cautions back out on the speedway.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize for everyone watching. It threw me off a little bit as well.
And I'm not sure where that wreck was. It's pretty hard to keep up with those sorts of things here on iRacing, because you don't have all the telemetry as you might normally have, but I think it might have been the number 16.
It was the 16.
Pretty wadded up there. We'll go back to that real quick, try and see what happens here. Probably just got loose like the name of the game all night.
It looks like the 22 and the 16 were going for the same piece of real estate. The 22 wasn't clear and actually got in contact with the 16. Race control just called it on the 22, but it's going to collect the 16, the 22, and the 114 of Jared Beasley.
Yeah, that's going to be really hard contact for both the 22 and the 16. I'm not so sure about the 114. Looks like maybe some impurities in the connection helped him out, but that's certainly going to be tough for the 16 and the 22. Looks like they both got a lot of damage out of that one. I don't think there was any benefactor out of that in any way, shape, or form. Robbie Buckner just barely missed Billy Hargrove as he spun into turn 1. And it looks like we might have the number 16 of Michael Redding parking it for the night. And as we have NMNTS commenting on the stream, definitely, yeah, follow that link to their website. Definitely a very cool league to check out, whether you're driving, watching, or otherwise. Definitely a very cool league to keep up with. And they've got a very nice website over there at http://racer4life9. That's going to be RACER 4, the number 4, LIFE, the number 9, .wixsite. That's going to be WIXSITE.com. And again, it's a very cool website to check out. Gives you as much info as you could possibly want on the series. And thank you for sharing that in the chat there, NMNTS. We'll try and get you that in the scrolling text along the bottom. So Zach, as we get to the mid-race grind, we've actually eclipsed halfway by quite a bit, about 14, 15 laps now. Who's your pick to win this thing?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't want to give him the announcer's curse. I gave it to the 23, and he ended up not finishing this race out of bad luck. I really don't want to say right now, but I don't know. Mike Bruno's been able to charge his way back up into third, but here's another one. DJ Hargrove, he was involved in a wreck, I do believe, but he's able to get himself back up there into the top 2. If I'm going to have to pick anyone besides your pick, I'm going to have to go with Sawyer Ott. He's been up there with these guys all night, so I got to go with him.
Yeah, and it looks like my pick is starting to really show why I picked him. Tyler Justice, like I said, when there's adverse conditions on the track, he ends up shining. I'm not sure why. No one here has really figured it out because no one can beat him yet. But I think the day that someone figures it out, it's going to be trouble for Tyler Justice, as he is one of the fastest guys in the series. That's why he's the favorite to win the other 2 series in the NMNTS on Monday nights and Tuesday nights. I don't think there's really any easy beating him. Definitely have to agree with that comment from Larry Dickerson in the chat, hoping the finish is as crazy as today's Martinsville race. And since Austin Newcombs, you say this is your first time watching and it looks awesome, thank you and appreciate you tuning in, and hopefully you continue to watch because it's definitely very fun stuff for us as we get ready for the restart. Here's that.
All right, if I'm not wrong, we are coming to the green right now. We are double stacked. Camera says I'm live, so hopefully I don't mess this one up for you guys. As we get ready to go, pace car dives off. Everyone starts to stack up. Tyler Justice waits just a little bit as the 35 is pounding on the 24's bumper. Tyler Justice will take off. The 19 will be under the 24 of DJ Hargrove. Mike Bruno might be in the best chance to get P2. DJ might be able to hold him off coming out of the corner. And it looks like we still got a battle for second. It looks like DJ might be able to hold him off going into the corner again. Let me see here. Nope. Mike Bruno's going to be right there. Right now, this is what Tyler wants to see in his rearview mirror as he drives off almost a full second on top of these guys.
Yeah, Tyler Justice already has a 9/10 of a second lead, now stretching it out to a 10th down the back straightaway over DJ Hargrove and Mike Bruno mixing it up for second place. We'll go to them now as DJ Hargrove starting to fall into the clutches of Sawyer Ott in the number 35. Mike Bruno will be clear of them. Sawyer Ott going to do battle with the number 24 on the inside, going to bring Mark Broderick into it.
See if the 24 can kind of force himself as the 35 gets a little loose out of the corner. That's going to put the 32 right behind the 35 going into the low side of the corner. DJ's got to get to the bottom here, got to reset. He is getting freight trained a little bit here. He's got to reset his mind, got to reset everything here and just get back into a rhythm and try to get himself back up there into the top 2.
Yeah, but I tell you what, if you drive this place the right way, that top line works. I did it a little bit in my own practice. It takes some skill, it takes some determination to get it to work, but if you figure that top line out and get it to work just right, you can go forward. But currently it looks like DJ Hargrove not able to make it work. As a moment there between the 32 and the 35 of Mark Broderick and Sawyer Ott respectively, as Mark Broderick is going to lose a couple of positions, getting out of harm's way, trying to keeps from causing anything. Very polite, sportsmanlike move there as he drops it down to the bottom. He's going to now be rolling in the 6th position, just ahead of Terry Mason and Corey Walters. He's going to get back to it. We've got, for the first time all night, Christopher Matthews getting into this battle in the TN Design Chevrolet. Very nice to see him getting into things. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts to show why he's getting there now. I think he was just sitting there waiting for these guys to wreck their cars and open up the opportunity for him to pounce. He's currently running 5th after starting, it looks like, well, not totally sure, it looks like he started 19th. So he started pretty much shotgun on the field, and now he's running 5th. So a very nice pickup for him in the number 92. We've seen him a couple of times out in the chat, so we appreciate him helping us out there. And looks like now he's going to do battle with DJ Hargrove. He's on the bottom, DJ Hargrove up top, and who do you think's going to get out of this one?
Well, right there it just looked like DJ got a good run out of the corner. The 92 gets a good run in, the 24 gets a good run out. So it's going to be battle of who can either make the other one mess up, or it's going to be a battle of who has the best car to get it done. And we have a caution out on the track.
As we'll try and find the reason for
it looks like
caution.
The 22.
Yeah, I was just going to say it looks like it might have been the 22 car there, Billy Hargrove. If you're wondering, there is a relation between the two Hargroves on the track. It's that Billy is DJ's father. So I do want to mention that as we're watching the number 22 to find out exactly what
looked
happened.
Like he self-spun, but it looked like it was some synchronized spinning going on right here. As soon as the 90 lost it, the 22 lost it, maybe trying to check up.
And that was a close call for the 5 of Jason Alexander there. Sorry to interrupt you, but that was something right there. I mean, I don't think it could have been any closer for Jason, as it looks like he might have been getting up to speed from his own moment. And he was following these guys around. Actually, he was up to speed. I went back to the wrong lap, but he was right behind these guys. He was actually running the top side, trying to just stay out of harm's way, running the top side to keep his car nice and clean, or at least as clean as he can at this point in the race. And like you said, Zach, synchronized spinning with the 22 and the 90 of Robbie Buckner and Billy Hargrove, and trying to thread the needle between them, just barely misses Robbie Buckner as he spins out of turn 4. But he'll be able to continue on. He is back on the lead lap now, so that's very nice to see from the number 5 Lego Batman machine, as we wish him the best. And Mike Redding out there in the chat, yeah, his night is over. We caught that on camera. It was a really vicious crash, as we've seen a couple of those tonight, particularly for the number 90 of Robbie Buckner, who's still in the field, and for Michael Redding a little while ago. A couple of very vicious wrecks. Do you want to take time real quick to once again thank the 42, 43, the number's kind of bouncing around, but the 40 plus of you guys out there watching this race really means a lot to us. That's the most we've gotten for any league race so far here on iRacing, consecutive viewership. So do want to thank you all for coming out. As currently, we're going to have a change of hands for the lead from stepson to stepfather. Tyler Justice came in. I think looks like the number 07 and the number 90 stayed out, if not at least to get a lap lead, maybe to get some track position. Gordon Larson Jr. going to stay out in the number 07 Mellow Yellow Chevrolet. It's definitely beat up. Looks like it went through 200 laps here at Richmond, but currently we've got 47 laps to go, just past 100 laps through this event. Robbie Buckner going to pull that car into the pits. Maybe was trying to get a lap lead himself, but since Gordon Larson Jr. is going to stay on track and forces steps onto the outside for the restart, Gordon Larson Jr. is your leader.
Yeah, we saw this earlier from him. He stayed out, led a lap, and then came in. This time I thought he was going to do the same thing, but this time he's going to stay out. He's going to have his stepson pull up to the outside of him coming to this green flag, but we are still single file. Right now our top 5, Gordon Larson Jr., Tyler Justice, Mike T. Bruno, Sawyer Ott, and DJ Hargrove.
Yeah, and it's certainly going to be a very interesting restart with that number 07. We'll have to see if he can keep up with these guys up in the front, as we haven't seen him up there all night long, aside from, like Zach mentioned, that other point where he did stay out to get a lap lead and restart up in the front, but he actually came in before the caution was over. So this will be interesting to see how he fares with these guys, as that's going to put Tyler Justice on the outside for the restart. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Gordon lets Tyler in once we get off into turns 1 and 2. It certainly wouldn't be protested, I don't think, by Tyler. I think he definitely appreciate that very much, but it would definitely be detrimental to the number 19 as we get ready to get going one more time. We're going to have, it looks like, about 44 laps to go. We'll be restarting a lap 107 of 150 here, Zach.
Yeah, here we go. Getting ready to come to the green flag. Right now they're double file. Gordon Larson Jr., Tyler Justice sets the front row. Mike T. Bruno Sawyer sets the second row. DJ Hargrove and Mark Broderick set the second row. Pace car dives off the 07, tries to get a good jump. Tyler Justice stays with him this time. It's going to be cool to see if the 7, can stay with him on the high side. 7 breaks a little early going into the corner, making sure he does not lose that car under his stepson. Mike Bruno's going to be on his bumper, almost forced a 3 wide there. But as the 7 gets by on the high side, the 35 of Sawyer will get on the high side as well. And the 19 might be looking to the inside going into turn 1. The 07 getting gobbled up instantly.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, even though he's going backwards on this restart, Gordon Larson has no plans of pulling over for these guys. He made it challenging for both his stepson, Tyler Justice, to get by, as well as Sawyer and Mike Bruno, but he has fallen into the 4th spot. Gets a little bit close. He actually tags Mike Bruno, 19. And Mike Bruno is going to go around and turn 4. Definitely
both of them
not,
save it.
Definitely not intentional, but definitely a moment there for both involved. I don't think it's going to be too much damage for the 19 of Mike Bruno, but wow, that was crazy right there. I think it was just a matter of maybe a slight impurity in the connection. This is iRacing, meaning internet racing pretty much. So sometimes the connections aren't showing the drivers exactly what the sim is registering. So sometimes there could be a little bit of negative space where cars make contact even though it doesn't look like it. So we'll have to watch and see if that's what happens here with the number 19 and the 07. Hard to tell from that angle, but we'll watch as the 19 barely hangs on to that. I don't think anyone got any damage out of that one, though.
Incredible driving by both of them. Both of them were able to come out with the straight car. None of them got hit. None of them, they smoked their tires a little bit, but besides that, both of them were able to keep their car straight.
Tell you what, one of my non-NASCAR friends just tuned in, but yeah, Gordon Larson wasn't even on Mike Bruno just yet, but that's interesting to see one of my non-NASCAR friends tuning in just randomly on my timeline. Decided to come on in, so I'll be hearing about that one tomorrow at school.
We got to thank every viewer, though.
That's going to be interesting.
We got to thank every viewer, though.
Yeah, I'll make sure to pat him on the back extra hard for tuning in.
Okay.
Chris Matthews out in the chat saying, I'm just here to have fun and avoid crashes, and I'll tell you what, he's doing a great job of that so far. We were just talking about Chris Matthews a little while ago, managing to get that car up in the top 5. Now he's falling back a little bit, I think by design, to come in and get some tires and a full tank of gas and continue on with his race. We're going to have 40 to go here this time by, and we're going to have a couple more laps knocked off by the time we go green. Currently, Tyler Justice still your leader.
Tyler Justice is our leader. Sawyer will be P2. Mark Broderick will be P3. DJ Hargrove will be P4. Corey Walters will be P5. That little bit of a contact between the 07 and the 19 will put the 07 back here to P8 and put the 19 back here to P6. And right now, our points leader, Terry Mason, staying alive right now, P7.
As I think we're going to have one more lap until we go green. And Larry Dickerson out there in the chat saying he loves the throwback Kyle Petty mellow yellow paint scheme for sure. This is an opportunity for some of these guys to run throwback paint schemes, as these cars are kind of a throwback to the old NASCAR stock cars from the mid-90s, or probably even the mid-80s on to about 2007 when NASCAR finally ditched the Gen 4, as they're now called, for the car of tomorrow with the big old wing on the back and the obnoxious splitter on the front. So currently though, Tyler Justice, like we said, going to have the lead on the restart. Sawyer out to his outside in P2. And we're going to have Mark Broderick in the tied ride in 3rd place, followed by, it looks like, DJ Hargrove and Corey Walters. The Mike Bruno peeking his way back into the fray in P6.
Right now, we only got 10 cars up here on the lead lap. Everyone else has been taking damage. One car still on the lead lap, even though he has got tons of damage on that car, is the 5 of Jason Alexander, not going away without a fight. Like we said, he has no reason to bow his head. He's still in this fight, and he's still in the thick of it. So, I mean, got to give kudos to the 5 car for sticking his head out and keeping with it.
Got to appreciate that comment real quick from Tim Gals as we get ready to go back to the digger cam on this restart. Tim Gals out there saying y'all are rocking this broadcast. Got to appreciate you a bunch here as we get ready to go back green. Tyler Justice with the restart. He'll get going. We hear the engines roar back to life as they bring him down the front straightaway. Sawyer falling back into the clutches of Mark Broderick as we head down to turn 1.
And these guys are going to stay 2x2. The 32s are round in front of Corey Walters and in front of the 24. Caution might be out. Caution is out.
Yeah, it's going to be rough for Mark Broderick. He was just up there trying to get his name into the battle of things. It looks like that's going to be his night as he was maybe trying to get the car refired and couldn't. Off into turn 1, we'll watch the 32 gets loose, I believe. Just got loose on the bottom, started to overcorrect, and then got even more sideways than the 12 pounds into him, and he pounds into the outside wall, and that's going to be the 32 done. As we saw that puff of smoke on iRacing, that means the motor has expired. We'll watch that from another view off into turn 1. He just gets
We got to watch
loose.
that from the 24's cockpit. The 24 pretty much saw everything there, escaped with no damage from it, but bet you the 24, he's a little scared to see the Tide logo on that front hood there.
We'll go back and watch that from DJ Hargrove's view, as you mentioned there, Zach. Yeah, the Tide, the back end of that Tide Grand Prix started to come back up the track, and that was definitely not the sight that DJ Hargrove wanted to see right there. Is again, that's going to be Mark Broderick's night ended here with 35 laps to go. But currently, as we go back up to the front, we've got a plethora of drivers still in this. And it looks like Craig Lerman is actually going to be the first car lap down. Now, I don't think he's going to get the lucky dog this time. He might. Not totally certain. We'll watch for that. But if he doesn't get it this time, next time he will, as long as he doesn't get any incident points from iRacing in relation to the next caution. But real quick, I want to pull a driver aside. And that is going to be Christopher Matthews in the number 92. Somebody that doesn't really get to lend his voice to the broadcast very often. We're going to bring him up into the booth and get a word with him.
Alrighty.
So, Christopher Matthews, this is Andrew up in the booth. Do you have the copy?
7-4, got a copy for you.
All right. Well, I mean, you kind of waited in the back, it looked like, for these guys to tear their own equipment up, and now you're getting up into the fray of things. Looks like you're currently running P5. You've been there for a little while, at least up in the mix, in the top 5 a couple of times, and I gotta say hats off to you for just playing the game of attrition, getting that TN Designs Chevrolet up into the mix. What's your game plan from here on for the next 33 laps, though?
Well, we got a little bit under, about 30-something laps, 40-something laps. Still kind of want to play the game of attrition, but I think it's about time where the cautions stop and the actual racing begins. So we'll see what happens.
All right, for sure. Well, you know, it's been a great time to watch you and the rest of the field mix it up in the front. It's been pretty much the same leader most of the night, but for sure, everywhere behind Tyler Justice has been a great race to watch. So keep it up, man. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to? As you've been pretty active in the chat on Facebook, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to as we continue on with this 150 lap event?
Well, I definitely want to thank the people watching. This goes on every week. This is something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. I'm trying to do my sim racing career here. I'd like to thank you because you've gave me this design on the car and everything else. And I'd like to thank the league owners for putting on a good show and having all these drivers.
Yeah, and I tell you what, as you get ready to come to the green flag, we'll let you go in just a second. I think it's time for a refresh on that number 92. I think we'll get you a new car for next week. But thanks for, as always, putting that TN Designs name out there. It looks real nice on that number 2. I think we'll get you a new design for next week. We'll let you get back to it, though, as you're coming to the green.
10-4, see you guys.
And again, that was 5th place runner Christopher Matthews is getting ready for the restart. We'll go to his onboard camera right before the green flag flies.
And Tyler Justice jumps off.
Yeah, he
jumps
already.
off. The 24 can't really stick up with him. The 7 does jump off. It looks like the 75 will challenge the 12 on the high side. It looks like the top 2 will get single filed out as everyone else is on the bottom trying to get by the 75. 75 will clear the 12 on the high side as the 35 makes some aggressive moves. Sawyer up makes some aggressive moves to get by the 92 and the 12. Now he's hunting down the 75 of Terry Mason. And it looks like the 19 of Mike T. Bruno is trying to get by these guys as well. The 92 is under the 12. We just spoke with him, Christopher Matthews, under the 12 of Corey Walters.
Yeah, that certainly could have been a moment there for Christopher Matthews as he was taken 3 wide by Sawyer Ott down on the bottom as Christopher Matthews was giving Corey Walters some room down there on the bottom. Looked like maybe Corey Walters didn't get up to speed down the back straightaway, and Matthews was just giving him some room in the number 92. But currently, got to shift our focus to third place runner Terry Mason, points leader coming into tonight. He has the 43-point advantage over Jason Alexander. I think that's going to be pretty much an unsurmountable deficit for Jason to make up, but the bigger story of the night is Terry Mason mixing it up for a top 3 position possibly. Sawyer Ott does get around him for now, but Terry Mason will obviously...
Sawyer Ott losing it just a little bit. I'm sorry to interrupt there. He got into the corner just a little bit too hot. Was in front of the 92 and the 75. Caution is out, but it won't be on the 35 as he kept it straight.
And I'll tell you what, I think that was on his counterpart for the championship, and that was Jason Alexander around in turn 4. Not sure what happened to him, but as always, we're going to get to go look back at that. I think Jason was running on his own at the time, just trying to get to the end of the night, and he's definitely now got to be thinking he just wishes this race was over at this point. We saw him around with maybe some more damage there out of turn 4. Turns 3 and 4, gets loose once more and spins down, just barely hits the inside wall. I don't think that's going to add any damage to his number 5, but certainly an already wounded number 5 going around and certainly not going to be helping his hope to get the championship here in the NMNTS Disabled Military Veterans ARCA Series. But as we continue on, he's still in the top 10. He's still on the lead lap. So currently, it's not much of a loss for him other than you got to obviously keep in mind the fact that, that's not his first spin here tonight. And there is a rule in the NMNTS ARCA Series, as well as the other 2 series week in, week out, that if you spin on your own 3 times, so with no contact from anyone else to send you around, if you spin on your own 3 times, they will park you. It's basically just a way of making sure that we don't have somebody coming in and causing cautions to benefit themselves or others, or to make sure that there isn't somebody who doesn't belong on the track, maybe doesn't have the practice they need to contend safely for the rest of the drivers out on the track. So that's why that rule is in place. It's certainly nothing to pick at any one driver in particular. It's just to hopefully make the racing as good as it can be. So it looks like Zach is taking a moment away from the mic. As we do so, I want to ask everyone who's watching out there, almost 60 people out there, who do you have for the win? I know Zach was he originally picked the number 23 of Jason Burgess, but he has since ended up in a wreck, and I don't even see him on my top 20 leaderboard. So behind that, I think he picked the number 35 of Sawyer Ott, and I believe it looks like Ryan Daniels agreeing with Zach there. Maybe the number 35 has something for these guys, and I'll tell you what, since the start of the race, I've been with Tyler Justice in the number 7. I think he's got what it takes to get it done here tonight. But I want to hear who you guys picked for the race. Who you guys picked for the last 25 laps here. And I believe we're going to be taking just a quick break.
In this cauldron of fiery wills and burning competition, rivalries heat up quicker. This is an oval of stolen victories and crushed dreams, filled with volumes of unfinished business. Sooner or later, you all become rivals. With everyone fighting over one finish line, there's never enough glory to go around.
Now I know the commercials are kind of the bane of every NASCAR fan's existence, but that just gives me a second to get a drink of water, refresh myself for the rest of the race. So as we move on, it looks like most guys are going with the number 7. Tim Giles, Tracy Larson, Aaron Lapham, all going with the number 7 to Tyler Justice. Looks like Brandon Wilson going with the number 19. And Jeremy Stevens, since you're asking out in the chat that about a dirt series, there is a dirt series on Saturday night, but I believe we're going into a hiatus at the conclusion of the racing season. I believe we'll have some more events, just as fun events, like possibly the North-South Shootout. Hopefully the NMNTS Racing Series profile can give us some information on that, but currently we're gonna get back going here with looks like about 21 laps to go. Tyler Justice is your man controlling the restart. He gets going. We saw a little bobble with the number 5 and some others back there. Nothing to worry about though as they get it straightened out. And Tyler Justice off and away with the lead. Christopher Matthews mixing it up back here with DJ Hargrove and Sawyer Ott, battling for the second place position. Looks like Matthews might give it up to DJ Hargrove. Actually, no, he's going to battle back on the inside. Christopher Matthews still battling with DJ Hargrove down the front straightaway, down off into turn 1. DJ Hargrove's trying to work that top side still, and I believe that might be his motif for the rest of the night, to work that top side as much as he can. Sawyer Ott just looking for a way through these guys.
Yeah, it looks like the 92 might have the advantage. The 24 is going to get a good run on the high side. The 35 is going to try to stick with the 92 here, or whoever can get a better run coming out of the corner. But if push starts coming to shove and time starts running out, the 24 loses it. He's in the wall, no caution. But DJ Hargrove lost it just a little bit coming out of turn 2.
He's losing it again, Zach. He's down into the wall out of turn 4. That's going to bring out a caution, I believe. It hasn't just yet, but I think that'll be a caution once he's backing up onto the track.
Yeah.
I'll be very surprised if we don't get a yellow flag here for
no
that
yellow.
One.
He's back rolling.
We're going to continue on. That's a heartbreaker for the number 24, Hunter Stroud. I know you just picked him, but it certainly doesn't look like he's going to have the best chance of getting the win tonight. We'll go back and take a look at that. He was on the outside of Chris Matthews, as you mentioned, out of turn 2. Got loose out of turn 2. Got up into the wall, and I'm not sure what happened after that. Hits the wall with the right front, definitely does a number to that right side, and I think the turns 3 and 4 just continues to get loose once again. Down the track in front of Terry Mason, the points leader, and parks it on that apron down there, and no caution. These guys will continue on. Unfortunately for DJ Hargrove, I think that's going to be his hopes for a win tonight dashed, but Tyler Justice still out front, got a 2.5 lead, just about over Chris Matthews in the number 92. Then about another 0.8 of a second back to Sawyer Ott in the number 35. Battling currently with Mike Bruno for that 3rd position. So that's going to slow them down just a little bit. Mike Bruno edges ahead out of turn 2, Zach.
Yeah, Mike Bruno under the 35 right now is Sawyer Ott. Sawyer's been trying to run that high line, see if he can get anything going. It doesn't look like it right now. Mike Bruno able to get by him, clears him coming out of that corner. Now, I've been looking at the lap times here. It looks like these two, Mike Bruno and Sawyer Ott, have been falling off just a little bit to Tyler. But Christopher Matthews has been keeping up with Tyler and even beating Tyler in some of the times. So we might be looking at Christopher Matthews to run down Tyler Justice.
Yeah, but that's going to be a tall order for Christopher Matthews to get done. We haven't seen him up in the front all night. We saw him about with 50 to go start to get up to the front of the field and contend for maybe top 5 position, but it's going to be hard for him to get anything done as far as a win goes. But certainly, I'm certainly probably on his side to go up there and get it done. Just to see the underdog take it, because Tyler Justice, as we've mentioned a few times, the favorite to win the NMNTS Truck Series Championship along with the NMNTS Motor Sims Grand National Series Championship. You catch those on Monday and Tuesday nights. We'll only have the Tuesday night races, unfortunately, on PSI TV. But you can catch that on Tuesday nights. We'll follow up with a recap of the Monday night race, at least in the form of a recap of the points. So you can keep up on all the action here on PSI TV. But as we near 10 to go, again, I think it's just going to be too tall of an order for Chris Matthews to go up there and get likely at least a championship in one of the 3 series once the season is over in mid-November.
Yeah, and as we say that he was getting a little bit on Tyler, I think Tyler just turned on the juice. He might have been saving a little bit there or somewhat, but Tyler Justice has pulled out to a 2.1 second lead over Christopher Matthews, a 3.7 over Mike Bruno in third, and a 4.1 over Sawyer Ott in fourth, and a 6.5 over Terry Mason in fifth. So I don't want to say it's secure. I don't want to give the announcement. As a caution comes out, eat my words.
Yeah, that's definitely going to change the name of the game, because
Like
if
the five
anyone
again.
gets to the number 7 on this restart, I don't think they're going to shy away from giving him a bumper. We saw it done today in the Monster Energy NASCAR Series race at Martinsville Speedway, so I don't think anyone's above it here. It's, you know, it's going for a win, and most of these guys aren't even here for points. Who did you say that caution was, though, Zach?
Again, it was on our second place in points. Jason Alexander, he got in a little bit too hot going into 3 and 4, and the back end stepped out on him yet again. He stayed up high to make sure he didn't get in contact with anyone, but it was the 5 of Jason Alexander.
And that's certainly unfortunate to see, because, as you mentioned, he's second place in points coming into tonight, and I don't think he's going to have much of a hopeful run at the championship after tonight, unfortunately. We'll have to check in with him after the race, get his viewpoint on what happened tonight, but that could be his third and final self-spin tonight. As I mentioned while you were gone, Zach, there is a rule. If you spin on your own 3 times in the NMNTS Racing Series, you are parked for the night. It's nothing to pick on any one driver. It's just to hopefully ensure better racing as we move forward. Not to say this has been bad racing at all once we got the start of the race jitters out of the way, but it's just something to better competition. And to Andrew Wiley the third out in the chat, this is the NMNTS Racing Series on iRacing.com. iRacing.com is the top motorsport simulator out there, and we are PSI TV broadcasting this race for you tonight on behalf of NMNTS Racing Series. And if you don't know what NMNTS stands for, maybe that's the NASCAR Monday Night Thunder Series. Not sanctioned by NASCAR, but it is in the name there. Normally, they just go by the NMNTS Racing Series, like I mentioned. So as we move on, we've got 6 to go currently. And Tyler Justice still your leader, ahead of Christopher Matthews, Mike Bruno, and Sawyer Ott, with Terry Mason bringing it home in 5th so far. And that's certainly a big night for him, even though it doesn't look like he has any championship challengers at the moment still running. It's a big night for him to go up there and get as many points as he can in that 5th position.
Yeah. We heard it from him at the beginning of this race. He wasn't really going to try to challenge anything. We saw it from him a few times in the race. He just let guys go. He's not really going to challenge for anything. This is why he's up top right now. He's been consistent. He keeps himself out of situations. He doesn't put himself into wrecking situations. And if he does get involved into a wrecking situation, he still continues that method of, all right, I'm still going to stay clean, and I'm still going to do what I was doing before I got into the wreck. So it's obviously shown proof today. He can do it, and that's getting ready. If he keeps the car intact, keeps it straight coming towards the checkered flag here, that's going to put Terry Mason right here in a top 5 position and a top 5 finish.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we're going to have, I think, about 4 laps to go, maybe even as few as 3 laps to go when we restart this race. It's going to be one heck of a show these last few laps, because all bets are off at this point. It's the end of the race, and if a caution comes out now, the show is over. As iRacing does not currently have green-white checkered restarts coded into their software. 1 lap to green, we're going to have 4 to go. It looks like 3 to go, rather. It looks like for the restart, and this is going to be exactly what this race has been adding up to, a wild 3 to go restart. And tell you what, this has to end up in an exciting finish, or these guys need to be shown clips of that Martinsville race earlier, because this has the potential. We'll see what goes on here, though, as Tyler Justice going to be trying to defend his currently race-winning position over the rest of the field. Mike Bruno, his teammate, right there in 3rd. And Christopher Matthews, hungry as ever, up on the top side, restarting 2nd. Tyler Justice is off and away. The restart is green, and I don't think there's going to be any touching that number 7, but if there is, I have to believe a bumper will be laid.
Yeah, this 7 just took...
right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
As the caution is back out, that will end the night for these guys. Currently, my camera changer isn't working. I'm not sure why that is exactly.
Coffin.
Looks like there was a bit of a hiccup.
Be the end of the race. Tyler Justice. Oh my goodness. The 35 coming out of turn 2 almost collected our points later. Terry Mason, he was actually, 35 was losing it off of turn 2 and almost got into the right rear of the 75, and that would have put the 75 into the wall, possibly either ending his race or giving him terminal damage. But again, good escape from the 75.
And that's going to be a view we have to get from the inside of the number 35 of Sawyer. There was a little bit of trouble there on the restart with the broadcast and the number 92. That created a 3-wide situation out of turn 2. 35 got into the wall, and that was Sawyer up and over. We'll take a look back at that as the Jaeger Racing number 35 of Sawyer went rolling down the back straightaway here at Richmond International Raceway. Not something we're used to seeing from this 3/4 mile speedway, but definitely a rough ride and a rough ending to his night. But Tyler Justice will take home another win in the NMNTS Racing Series, this time in the NMNTS Disabled Military Veterans ARCA Series on Sunday nights in the iRacing K&N Impala Chevrolet. And Tyler Justice brings home another Cinespec TC Towers win as the fireworks go off here from Richmond, with teammate Mike Bruno in second place and another teammate, actually, Christopher Matthews, in tow in third. Terry Mason will bring home the number 75 in fourth, followed by Craig Lerman in fifth, Corey Walters in sixth, Gordon Larson in seventh, DJ Hargrove in eighth. Sawyer Ott, after that wild ride on the back straightaway, will end up ninth on the night. Jason Alexander will end the night 3 laps down in 10th. And Zach, I'll give you the rest.
Ending 6 laps down will be the 22 of Billy Hargrove. 12th would be Mark Broderick. 13th will be Jared Beasley. 14th will be Michael Redding. 15th will be Robbie Buckner. 16th will be Matt Skipper. 17th will be Jason Kinzer. 18th will be John Barron. 19th will be PJ Popham. 20th will be Derek Robinson. My earlier pick, 21st will be the 23 of Jason Burgess. 22nd will be Kenneth Yance, and that will end our field.
And I'll tell you what, if you're thinking of clicking away from the broadcast, don't go just yet. We're going to have interviews with the top 4, or actually, yeah, the top 4 finishers and P10, Jason Alexander, who is in the championship battle. So don't go away just yet. Brendan Wilson, contact the NMNTS Racing Series. Their profile has been commenting on the broadcast just a little bit, but for now we're going to get to talk to most of the field here tonight. We are going to bring in first third place finisher. We got to talk to him just a little while ago. It was Christopher Matthews in the number 92. Christopher Matthews, this is Andrew up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Hey, yeah, I'm here.
All right, well, as your teammate does burnouts through turns 3 and 4, definitely a great run for you going up there, finishing out the team 1, 2, 3 for MR Motorsports, finishing in the third place position here in the TN Designs number 92. Once again, just a great run for you. Congratulations on that. Got to talk to you a little while ago and didn't really expect you to end up finishing third the way that race was going. It looks like there was going to be some more exciting wrecks, but great job just continuing your job of trying to race with attrition in mind. Is there anyone you want to thank? Anything you want to say? Just give it all to us in a nice little spiel here.
Definitely like to thank my teammates Tyler and Mike over there. They put on a good race. Tyler definitely got me on the restart. Had no clue when he was going to go. I'd like to thank you guys for putting on the show. Thank the fans, anyone else that tuned in. It was a fun one. I don't think I got an incident on the track. I think I kept my car pretty clean, so that's another notch in the proud belt, I would say. And you can see the fireworks down there too.
For sure. Well, before we let you go, just once more, awesome run for you out there tonight in the number 92. Any other closing words you want to offer up?
Feel free to find where the page is at. I'm sure you guys have all the information. We love to have more racers. More competition is always great. I don't know. I'm just excited to even finish the race, to be honest with you. But thanks again, guys.
All right, well, thank you, man, for coming out here, putting on a great show for us. And move you back up to debrief with your team as we bring in one of your teammates, Mike Bruno.
All right, you guys have a good one. Thanks, guys.
And again, that was second place finisher Christopher Matthews out of the TN Designs and MR Motorsports shops. Zach, I'll let you get a word in with Mike Bruno, our second place finisher.
Mike Bruno, this is Zach Lingren up here in the PSI booth. You got a copy, bud?
I got you, Zach.
Alrighty, bud. Well, you had an up and down race. We saw you. You'd get up there. You'd lead some laps. You were battling with Tyler. You had a self spin there. Like you said at the beginning of the race on your pole speech, you said that the track was really loose. Is that what bit you? Did you just get into the throttle a little bit too hard? What happened there on that self spin?
Yeah, I actually felt like I was being a little bit too conservative. I was trying to save a little bit of tire there, so I just kind of goosed it a little bit too much in the middle of the corner, and around she came, her corner exit, whatever it was. But yeah, I just got a little bit of damage, went down, hit the inside wall. It wasn't too bad, but I think it kind of affected me more mentally than anything. Car was probably still quick, but I felt like it was slow, you know. But other than that, man, it was an awesome race. Christopher, Tyler, they did a great job and had a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, both of you guys were battling all night. Well, actually, all three of you guys were battling all night. Like you said, you had an up and down night. You'd get to the front, go to the back, get to the front, go to the back. Again, I believe you powered to the front for the third time, and that's what put you P2. Is there anything else that you could tell us that was going on out on the track, how the car was handling after the damage?
It didn't really feel like it affected it in the corner, just maybe a little bit of straightaway speed. I just kind of got held up behind a couple cars and a couple of them restarts that really kind of bit me in the long run there. Other than that, though, it was a lot of fun and a lot of great racing. I know we had quite a few cautions, but when we did get down to it, it was some good racing out there. And just want to say congrats to Tyler and Chris on the third place, and Sawyer was up there, man. It was a lot of fun racing with those guys tonight.
Yeah, when the race was green, it was really exciting. It was really fun to watch. Before we let you go, you got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, definitely. Thank my sponsor, Simspec, as always. I want to thank you guys for doing what you do. Appreciate it. Thank all my teammates at MR Motorsports. And, yeah, thanks a lot.
Well, thank you, Mike. Good race tonight, and we hope to see you next week.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate it.
All right, and we're going to bring in points leader, Terry Mason. We actually just got word of the points standings, so as we bring Terry Mason in. Terry, real quick, before we let you know of your current points lead, what do you have to say about tonight's 150-lap race from Richmond?
Whew, I'm glad it's over. It was a great race. It was a lot of fun, especially with your car. Got a good grip. It was a very enjoyable race.
For sure. Well, we saw you mixing it up in the front as much as you could in that number 75 Project 9 line Chevrolet. Definitely hats off to you for going from kind of midfield to ending up in fourth place tonight. Great run for your number 75 team and everyone at WFM Motorsports. Real quick, since it is about that time to start looking towards the points, I think you're pretty much safe in first place as we go into the last 2 weeks. Certainly,
I'll knock on wood.
Yeah, certainly knock on wood. Don't want to give up just yet, but looks like you're in a pretty good spot. You have a 49-point lead over Jason Alexander, an 85-point lead over myself in the number 81, although I won't be here for the last two races. I'll be broadcasting up here in the booth, just like tonight, hopefully with Zach alongside of me. You have an 111-point lead over Derek Robinson and 136 points over DJ Hargrove, so I dare say that you're probably in a pretty good position for South Boston and Texas. So even if you have a slip up in one of those races, I think you'll be okay there, Terry. But real quick before we let you go and talk to race winner Tyler Justice, is there anyone you want to thank tonight?
Oh, definitely. I got to thank all the guys over at Riot Motorsport for all the support that they give me, especially between Joseph Anajar and all the other guys over in WFO, Robbie Buckner, Bradley Wilson, Vince Thompson, and of course, I can't leave out Zach here.
I thank you. I thank you for including me.
I couldn't forget about you, man. Forget about you.
Thanks, buddy.
So I have all these guys to lean on for support, and learn some secrets from, and I'm just glad to be here running with you guys.
Well, Terry, before we let you go real quick, I gotta ask, how scary was it to see those few cautions happen right in front of you, or those few wrecks?
I am so glad you asked that question, because I was thinking on a comment for that. I do feel sorry for the number 75 crew, as they will have to hose out the inside of this car.
Yeah, we watched that first caution when the 90 and the 23 and the 72 got spun around. You went right through the middle of that, and
Yeah,
I even made the comment to go so far as like you might need a new pair of shorts, and then coming towards the end of it, the 35 lost it and almost collected you.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of those incidents. That big wreck with the 90 you were talking about, and the issue with the 24 car near the end of the race. He was up high. He had gotten a wall come out of 2 and staying up against the wall. Came out of turn 3 and just spun right down the track in front of me. And I think I don't remember if it was Gordon was behind me or not, but that was definitely a moment. So yeah, there was a lot of moments tonight.
Well, at least he escaped with them with a clean car. Well, outside it's a clean car.
Outside.
I don't know about the inside, but hey, good race for you tonight, man. You able to stretch out that lead in the championship. We hope to see you again next week, man.
Thank you. And I got one more shout out I need to give.
Alrighty.
I need to give it to you two guys, Andrew and Zach, for broadcasting this race. You guys do an excellent job, and I can't leave you guys out.
We thank you. We thank you, buddy.
Thank you very much there, Terry. And as we let you go here, I guess we'll keep in memory your poor fabricators back in the shop with the newly brown painted interior of that number 75. So we'll let you debrief with your team now. Great run there in 4th place, as I think here in a couple of weeks, once we leave Texas, we'll be talking about a new champion rather, in the ARCA series. That will be, I would imagine you, but it might be jinxing you just a little bit to say it outright. So
commentator curse.
Probably. So we'll let you get back down there with your team and Robbie Buckner, as want to once more congratulate you on a great run tonight.
Thank you, guys.
And I've just queued up the footage of Tyler Justice doing his burnouts here tonight from the Richmond International Raceway, and I think that's fitting as we're about to talk to him. Tyler Justice, this is Andrew up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, I picked you from the get-go tonight, and you definitely made me look a lot smarter than I probably am. And that's SimSpec PC Tower Chevrolet. Definitely a great run from you. Not sure how many laps you led tonight. Actually, I might be able to bring up that stat, but certainly a dominating run, as always, out of that number 7 machine. It looks like you led 107 laps, so certainly a great run for you tonight. What was your game plan from the get-go, and did it change at all?
Mainly just to stay up front, keep the nose clean, not get caught in any wrecks, and try to play a strategy game right, because we had a lot of cautions there, and it was definitely some people pitting and not pitting, and it was hard to try to figure out when to pit and not pit, but we figured it out all right. Started 4th, actually spun in qualifying, and put down a decent 2nd lap to start 4th, and made our way up to the front pretty quick there, and kept the nose clean, like I said, and didn't get in any trouble. And it was definitely slick out there tonight. I almost lost it off turn 2 one time. Got to be real careful getting on the brake, getting into the corner, and getting into the throttle coming off the corner. But other than that, yeah, we came off with a win. MR Motorsports 1, 2, 3. It was a good night for us.
All right, for sure. Well, is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go back to your team? Anyone you want to thank for that dominating run in that number 7?
Yes, sir. I want to thank my sponsor, SimSpec, for being on the car as always. I want to thank John Barron and Kenneth Yance. I want to thank 1000.com. I want to thank Bradley for the league, and I want to thank you guys in the booth. You do a great job. Keep it up.
All right. Well, thank you very much, man. Definitely a great run for you tonight once more. Congratulations there, and we'll let you get back with your team unless Zach has any questions for you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Well,
I got nothing for him. Hey, dominant as always.
Thank you, sir.
No problem,
All
buddy.
right, well, have a good night, man. There, Tyler. Definitely a great run, and hopefully we get to talk to you next time we have one of these shows. I believe it'll be Tuesday night, not this Tuesday night, but the week after at Texas. So I'm sure we'll get to talk to you then. Great run for you tonight. Hopefully we get to talk to you next time we're here.
All right, appreciate it.
And Zach, as this is going to bring us to the close of our show. Definitely want to thank everyone who came out tonight. I think we sustained at least 40 viewers all night long, sometimes getting up into the 60s, so that's great. Definitely want to thank everyone out there who tuned in. Looks like we're getting something going here for ourselves. Definitely want to thank anyone else also who was watching during today's NASCAR Cup Series stream. We ended up not only eclipsing 500 likes on Facebook, but also 600 all in one day, so that was really cool to watch the stats there as the race went on. Definitely added to my day personally. Zach, are there any closing thoughts you have for us?
Well, I mean, we heard it from the drivers at the beginning of the show. I mean, it's just a loose racetrack, and we saw it for most of the race. It just bit some of the drivers, but I think all in all, as soon as everyone got a handle on the track, got a handle on the car, it turned out to be really good racing, really fun, clean racing. We saw a few incidents where a few drivers got into each other. That's just because they were trying to save their own cars, trying to save their own race. But like I said, man, it was a really good race. It was fun to watch. I thank everybody for coming out and watching the race. Like you said, we had at one point 60 viewers, but for me, if it was one viewer or a million viewers, I'd love for you guys to tune in, and can't wait for you guys to tune in next week.
All right, well, Zach takes a piece of humble pie.
There you go. There it is.
All right,
there it is.
Zach takes a piece of humble pie for himself and takes the high road there. Zach, I just want to thank you once more for coming out tonight, helping me out as always with these broadcasts. We'll be back this Thursday night with Phoenix International Raceway action from the All-Star Sim Racing Manifold Truck Series as their chase continues to rage on, and it'll actually be the second elimination race of the season as we get ready to go into Homestead with the Championship 4. So once more, Zach, thanks for coming on board. Thanks for lending your voice as always. Definitely always great to have you up here, and hopefully
Thank you for
everyone
having
tunes
me.
in Thursday night about the same time as tonight's race got going, and I think that's about it. Definitely want to thank everyone once more, everyone that was involved behind the scenes with NMNTS, on the scenes here with Zach, and everyone viewing as well as we close the shop up for the night. This has been the NMNTS Disabled Military Veterans ARCA Series, Auto Lotto 200 from Richmond International Raceway. There we go.